Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. In this video I kind of want to talk a little bit about crowd control. Mostly about Battle for Azeroth crowd control in PvP. Some of us, like rogues, we love crowd control, being able to lock down an enemy, but most of us hate it. We just don't want to be seen in CC, we'd rather be paying 15 bucks a month to play our character rather than being in a sheep all day. But some people have found a way to break past any crowd control in the game, and it's busted. Recently, during our 5v5-1v1 dueling series, we were demonstrated a brand new busted way to play World of Warcraft, while essentially being immune to crowd control when it counts. In Battle for Azeroth, gear is important again in PvP, which is a good thing. This means that the choice of stats, enchants, and even trinkets now makes a difference when it comes to battlegrounds or arenas. In previous expansions, we used to get PvP trinkets that would allow us to break out of crowd control effects, unless you were human. This system has been adapted and baked into the baseline aspects of Legion PvP, where the PvP talents kind of taken over the expansion. So all of us can now choose an adaptation, or Gladiator's Medallion, or Relentless, any of the three ways to break out of crowd control that are all effective and ineffective depending on the situation. With trinkets being re-enabled in PvP and BFA once again, most players can now take advantage of both systems, the Honor Talent system as well as an on-use trinket to break you out of crowd control. To maximize the effectiveness of this method, you'll want to train yourself into adaptation for your honor talents. With adaptation, it'll get you out of any crowd control longer than 4 seconds instantly. Then, on top of that, you run a PvP trinket in your trinket slot from previous expansions alongside, so you'll also, on top of adaptation, will have an on-use crowd control breaker on a 2-minute cooldown, just like your Gladiator's Medallion. This way, any long CC gets dispelled instantly with adaptation, and if things get bad, you still have a backup whenever necessary. This changes the game up in major ways. Adaptation will cover you for any long-term CC. Long stuns, long fears, long incapacitation effects get broken instantly. If you get chain CC'd with, let's say, different effects, like for example, you get hit with a fear and then you get hit with a horror effect, which are technically counts as two different crowd control abilities, you can always break yourself out of a second CC with your second on-use trinket in your trinket slot. That means you can just chain break CC as much as you want as long as the cooldown is available. If you wish, on top of all this, you can also play an Orc, because the Orc racial adds extra to this mix, extra busted properties to whatever spec you end up playing. And if you want to be completely overpowered, immune to all crowd control whatsoever, if you wish, you might also play on Orc on top of this method, as the Orc racial adds a bit of extra to the mix. With this way you can have a passive stun duration reduction, and stuns are a majority of the crowd control in the game still to this day. Stun reduction as an Orc, preventing most stuns to be completely effective against you. Adaptation to break out of any first use long CC, so any other control effects after the first one will have a diminisher in turn. And on top of it, a backup to cover you in case things get bad. This means effectively, if used properly, you can be a PvP god without having to sit into any CC that would otherwise get you killed, or otherwise CC used to control you long enough so you cannot help your team or a group in a PvP situation. Imagine a healer in a battleground sitting CC forever while his teammates are melting to the enemy team. This combination overall creates a pretty unfair advantage. In a sense, you're able to select and use both of the honor talents of adaptation and Gladiator's Medallion without any diminishing returns against each other, without any CDs off of each other, without any punishment. All you have to do is just use a upper trinket slot. Generally, the trinkets that break you out of crowd control effects have been used in previous expansions like Mists of Pandaria, and the latest one, Warlords of Draenor. And those trinkets have a specific level cap to them, like Warlords of Draenor trinket is only level 100. So at max level in BFA at 120, that level 100 trinket is 20 levels behind you. So the stats essentially shouldn't hold up. So there might be a chance that people will want to use a better trinket with better stats, rather than a trinket where you lose out on stats but you get extra CC capability. But if you look through your heirloom window, we can see both an Alliance and a Horde CC trinket for us to choose from. And these heirlooms can be upgraded to, at least right now, match Legion level 110 stats. The problem with heirlooms is eventually they'll be upgradable to level 120, as to increase the player level and experience. Generally, Blizzard does this when there's, let's say, nothing going on, when content is a bit dry. So they up the heirlooms so that people can now level all the characters, maybe even allied races. There'll be even more reasons for people to re-level characters, so of course they'll be upgrading heirlooms to max level. But that also means that these same PvP trinkets will also be upgradable to level 120. So their stats will be somewhat competitive at level 120. The effect alone in player versus player combat to break you out of CC is strong enough where most players, I think, would use it, whether it's casual battlegrounds or some like higher level arena. Even let's say those trinkets don't give you stats like intellect, strength, agility, any of those stats that increase your damage, but being able to sit in CC for less time means more time doing damage to the enemy. So essentially it's a nice trade-off, and most people, I think, would take it regardless. Imagine going up against a rogue who wants to throw you into a full stun lock rotation, back-to-back stuns, cheap shots, kidneys. We know you hate it, but let's say you have 2 crowd control breakers for your character, keeping you from being stunned. Sounds pretty strong, right? It turns the rogue from the most annoying class that may one-shot you in the opener to somebody who just can't even do anything to you, and you can just beat them up like a nerd in gym. So the problem is, it's just a matter of time until everybody starts running around with adaptation and a normal trinket as an orc to be completely almost immune to CC when it really counts. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm glad that I could inform you guys on this method, as it's fairly new. We just found out about it Friday. So I'm hoping out of this video that you guys will take this video and use this method and abuse the living shit out of it. You know why? Because I want it to get nerfed, and it's awesome to be able to use trinkets again in BFA. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a great change. I just don't think Blizzard intended for us to be able to run honor talents alongside of trinkets that break us out of CC. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing they wanted for PvP, and that just adds so many more imbalancing things in the game. We already struggle with World of Warcraft PvP to keep it as balanced as humanly possible, and I don't think this helps the situation whatsoever. But feel free to take your part. What you can do is you can post on the forums about this just to let everybody know what this is all about, so more people can engage and start abusing this until Blizzard does something about it. Or feel free to report this as a bug, so maybe one of the developers can eventually see the bug report and maybe make a change in the game. Tell your friends about it, even though we know you don't have any friends. Why else would you be watching this video, am I right? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Big thanks to Wyming TV, as he is the guy who showed us exactly how this method works. Please check out his Twitch channel. I know not a lot of you guys watch my stuff, even go on Twitch, but if you do have a Twitch account, give this guy a look. He's actually a fairly high-rated EU rogue, and especially in RPGs. And he was very, very kind to share with us exactly how this method works. So if you're somebody who's learning subtlety, I'm pretty sure this guy will be able to give you guys some tips maybe while watching the stream. Maybe you guys will like his content. But big thanks to him for explaining to us exactly how this thing works. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it and if you think that this should get nerfed. And otherwise, I'd like to see some of you guys' comments. Let's see if we can get this thing nerfed, because I think it should be nerfed. But let me know your thoughts. Would you think this is something that should be in the game, or do you think it should be nerfed? Let me know your thoughts. I'd like to hear you guys' opinions. You all know mine. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you in the next video.